Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining me tonight. Happy Thursday. So tonight we are going to sew 4 of our Splendid Sampler 2 blocks together, quilt blocks, and we're going to make a bigger block of 4 together with some sashing, and we are going to prep that for some free motion quilting. So thanks for joining me here tonight. My name is Alyssa Thomas from Penguin and Fish, where we make cute embroidery kits for the beginning crafter. And I'm here every weeknight at 8:30 p.m. Central Time, and it's a time that we can relax and craft together. All right, so we got 4 blocks here, 4 different ones, and I am ready to sew them together. I'm going to put some sashing pieces in. We have it all laid out from last night, all trimmed and ready to go, and we just need to start. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, hello everyone. So here are the 4 blocks, and I have the backing fabric and the batting, so I'm hoping we can get those on tonight as well. And the goal is we are going to sew together 4 different blocks with some sashing and the cornerstone square, and we are prepping them for free motion quilting. These ones are all done already. And so every time I get around 4 blocks or so, I actually have a spare one right now. I sew them together, and then we do that free motion quilting, that step for the quilt as you go process. So it's kind of a nice thing to do to take a break from making all the blocks. So I've been liking it a lot for just a little bit of a breather in between blocks. So what we are going to do is we have 3 rows here. So I have 3 rows of 3. So I have a block, sashing, little cornerstone is what those are called, and another sashing piece, and then block, sashing, block. We've already trimmed these 2 bottom blocks so these 2 blocks were a little bit bigger than the 6.5 inches. So we trimmed them down, but I only trimmed the sides that are going to be connected to the sashing. These other 2 sides that are still a little bit big, we're going to leave those big, and we will trim it when we're done quilting it, because quilting can kind of pull the fabric in on itself a little bit. So that extra little fabric is going to be nice for us. So these guys don't have any extra, so we might actually have to add extra on the outside. But let's hop over to the machine and we'll start sewing this. I'm going to sew the first 2 columns together first, and then I will sew the next on after that. All right, so let me know how everyone is today. Ooh, dropping all of my bins. Okay, so first up is this guy and the seam allowance here. Oh, it looks like we should start up another leader before we get going too far. There we go. I have not cleaned this machine yet. I can still see all the blue fuzz from our granny square quilt last week. I really should kind of clean this after every week almost. But oh well, we're fine. So I'm just matching this up with the edge. So my block's a hair small. I'm going to err on the side of ending up at the right length, so the top will be a little extra white fabric. Ooh, let's match that up again. Okay, that's the first 2. Now this is that second row, which is just a sashing and the cornerstone piece. We'll have that little colorful square in here. Ooh, gosh, that was not a great seam allowance. All right, and then this one, so this is the one where this side and this side is the correct size, so I need to start right at the top on this one, and I will have extra extra white edge after this strip. And that's fine. We'll make that up later. Ooh, gosh, I'm really close to this. It's wanting to pull to the side a little bit. Ooh, I hope that wasn't too crooked. Okay, so I'm going to take off the first one that we just sewed. Get our leader off of there. And I'm just going to flip this open. Oh, I should have sewn it from this side where I could watch for the seams, because there was actually a bunch of seams that we wanted to have like some nice points, but I sort of clipped all these points here. In theory, I could take that apart, but I'm not going to. I kind of do want to, though. Should we see if we can get that a hair better? Maybe we should. Let's do it. We got time here. I got done a little bit more than I thought yesterday, so let's just do this again, see how it goes. All right, so I'm just kind of getting the first couple stitches here. Then you can kind of pull open and see a big thread. Then I'm going to actually flip this around so the red part's at the bottom. And this is easier for bigger pieces of fabric, but I'm going to just try and hold these bottom parts, and then I can just go right up the seam here. Or I should be able to. There we go. This is easy when you have like a big, like lots of big parts together. Then you can hold the edge, but there I should just be able to go up quickly right down the middle. But you gotta keep the ends kind of taut. Come on, guy. But it's easier than picking out every single stitch. Get in there. There we go. Get on a roll. It's actually kind of fun once you get going, where you can just go up a seam really quickly, but I just cannot get a grip on this tonight. I should just be able to pull it apart. There we go. Not cool, not all that graceful, but still faster than picking each little stitch off. So I'm going to just kind of clean it up a hair. Normally I wouldn't do this, but it would be nice to get those points a little bit better. And like I said, we got some time. Why not? Pick your battles, and, sometimes, sure. We'll do it again. Okay. Oh, put it under. Okay, Patty had a good suggestion. Put under the presser foot. Oh, now I kind of want to seam rip something just to do that. So Patty says, I said you need that tension. She said put it under the presser foot to hold it. That's a great tip. I'm going to try that next time, hopefully. If I have to seam rip again, and it's in the future, someone yell out to put it under the presser foot again. That's a good tip. So let's try this again, and this time I'm going to go from this way, just because then I can see the seams. I mean, in theory, if I sewed this perfect, my seams should all end up on that 1/4 inch, but, guess that doesn't always happen, so. All right, I need to aim for, like, where all these seams kind of meet, which is by this kind of triangle here. There. Let's go right through there. Okay, I think we're good. Okay, next up, this triangle here. Yeah, I'm about a 1/16 of an inch off on that one. My first go around. Okay, through there, and my last one is up here. Ugh, yeah, I was off on all those. All right. Well, we'll have to come back to that one again to get the other side on, but for now we can continue with these other ones. All right, and this guy. I know this guy I kind of squiggled a little bit, but I think it looks fine. That's good. All right, but again, this one I'm gonna sew with this one on the top so I can aim for that seam allowance here as well. Ugh, all right, that's already kind of flipping there. So in this case, some of the seam allowances are where we started stitching the piece. Remember, this is that English paper piece one that we worked on this week, and it has those loose parts because we didn't stitch beyond our 1/4 inch, so we gotta like really get it right on that point. So this is my next point that I'm aiming for. Looks like we're gonna have to deal with this first. Okay, right on that point. All right, I think we did well. Okay, next point is right here where this fabric's all kind of splitting. It's our knicker knot. All right, hopefully this goes well. This will be interesting how this one ends up. All right, right there. Okay, I think we got it, and then just to the end. All this will be eventually cut off. All right, and then we still have that first one that we seam ripped. Let's see how we did this time, though. Okay, so much better. So there you can see the point. We're right on the point there. That's what we're going for. Perfect little point. And then this other point down here, much better. You can see all our holes. That should go away after we wash this, but all right, I'm happy we redid that. That's looking pretty good. It's looking much better. Okay, and then this one doesn't have anything we have to line up, so that's good. What I am going to line up though is the bottom, because this is the top row, so I want the bottom to be all nice and smooth. The edges on all these are going to be kind of weird, just because the blocks are all so different that sometimes I made them like a little bit bigger, sometimes a little smaller. So I'm erring on the side of the inside parts being right, and then we can just add fabric or play around with the outside a little bit if need be later. All right, next up, let's get the iron heated up. This will get pressed next, and then we'll sew the rows together. All right, and I need to grab some more leaders. Yep, that's just one. All right. Ooh, I gotta show you guys some stuff too. So, I'm gonna press these now. Oh, well, first of all, I'm gonna press, okay, nope, this is the bottom one. Bottom, top, like so. I'm gonna press these ones with the seam allowance going inside, and this one with the seam allowance going outward. Then I can nest the seams together. Ooh, how do we do on this one? Let's check this quick. All right, right on that point. That's going to be even better once we press it. And, you know, we sewed all the way up here, but once we sew this, it'll come to, you know, it was that funny shape. It was like point, but with that little extra little inward angle. So we're going to get that angle back when we sew this next one together. But we are going to have a studio sale. It's actually going to start on Saturday, and I brought home some of the things that are going to be in it. So it's kind of like a spring cleaning, and we're moving a bunch of stuff around, and we gathered just like a bunch of really fun stuff, I think. Some things that we've had for a while that we're just like, you know what? It's the time that we are going to offer some of this stuff to you guys. So, like, for example, we have just, like, some of our cones of floss. So, like, a full cone of floss is more like this size, but we have some smaller sized ones. So we use this for kits, but now we're using the penguin and fish floss, so we don't need our cones anymore. So we have a whole bunch of like super adorable, beautiful cones like this, and then also some bigger ones. But those will be like all discounted in the shop on Saturday. And some of them, like this one, we only have one of. A lot of them we just have one. So just check your emails on Saturday. We're going to be launching it Saturday. And then we have some really goofy things too. Like we have some floss that we're going to be discounting, and it's because it's been mislabeled. So we have, like, it says fresh basil here, but it's actually our northern cardinal color. We have a few mislabeled things. So it's kind of like our warehouse studio sale. We're going to have some of our things discounted, but then we're also going to have like some goofy things like that mislabeled floss. Some our tea towels that we all love, like the flour sack tea towels. Some that just weren't quite perfect enough that we felt comfortable selling, but usually it's just like a tiny little extra thread in there. So we'll have a lot of that stuff, and just a bunch of other really fun things, like a mystery box of like fun embroidery seconds and all of that. So I hope we try to make it really cute and fun, so I hope you guys like it. That will be on Saturday, and it's going to go for a week. So there's time. However, like I said, some of these things, like the floss cones, most of them we only have one. A couple of them we have two. So they're priced differently for like if there's a smaller amount versus a medium amount versus like a practically new cone. But even the new cones are going to be discounted. But I'm so excited. It's so pretty. All of that floss together. And we're having a fun time putting that website page together. So stay tuned for that. We'll definitely put an email out about it, but if you missed the email, it is going to be on Saturday. And like I said, that some of that stuff is first come, first serve for sure. All right. So I had to share. I'm just really excited about that floss and some of the other little cute boxes we've put together. Okay, we have those pressed. So I pressed them in opposite directions, the seam allowance. So these ones are going inside, this guy's going outside. And what I'm hoping that will allow us to do is match up the seams, so that these seams match up perfectly, and it looks like it's just a continuation of the line. It's not like stair-stepped like that. This will help, having the seam allowances in the opposite direction. I also think since this is a longer piece now, I will clip it together. I like just sewing smaller pieces without clips just because it's easy, but this long piece will clip. I did not sew this very straight. It looks so wobbly, but I think once it's quilted and pressed a little bit better, maybe. I don't know. This whole quilt is such a mishmash of things that, a little wobbly sashing here and there. This one's pretty wobbly too. Whatever. It's going to be fine. So, all right, I'm going to flip this one up, right sides together. Let's clip those. I have a bunch of clips here from yesterday. So I'm going to just kind of nest these seams together. Those opposite folds should just bump next to each other, you can actually feel them like stop each other from moving. Once that happens, I'm going to clip it. Same on this side. Get that all lined up. I'm like putting these on upside down. Actually, maybe I should sew it this way again. Yeah, okay. Because then we can get those, we can aim for those points again. All right, and just because I think I was going kind of wobbly, I think I'm going to clip it in the middle here too. Actually, I can't see it very well on this mat. Let's sit down and get a little closer. It's hard to see because it's white, this white on the white table. All right, all I'm trying to do is just line up the edge. But the edge disappears into my table. All right, this is more clips than I normally use, but I'm feeling some instinct right now that I might need them, so I'm running with it. All right. Clip, and I think we can make it to the end without a clip. All right, zoop down here, and we're good to go. Gotta get comfy. Get comfy for the sewing. Oops, sorry. Bumped ya. All right, I'm gonna get my stiletto in here just to help guide things in. So here's the first little X. We want to get right at that point there. And in theory, it should be right at our 1/4 inch seam allowance, but like I said, it doesn't always happen that way, but it's looking pretty good there. All right, so here's that triangle. We want to match that point right there. Again, should be right at that 1/4 inch. Okay, next. All right, this point right there. Okay, looking good. All right, now we're approaching our first seam that we nested together. We also have another point here, so all these points match. So let's get this out of the way and make sure everything's just gonna hold that there with my stiletto. Let's go right through that crossing. Oop, get this guy out. Ooh, I'm right through a seam there. My machine's having a hard time. There we go. Had to manually do that one a little bit. All right, home free. Don't have to match up any other points. The only other trick is right here. This is pretty thick, and that was tough going underneath the presser foot before. I should almost have a zipper foot for right there, but I think we made it under this time. Just matching up the rest here. Ooh, a little short here. Well, that makes sense because these two blocks seemed a little small, so it makes sense that my strip, the sashing strip, ended up being a hair longer. All right, I'm just trying to grab another piece here. Okay, there we are. So I think we'll place this together. We'll sew the next part together before pressing, but let's see how we did. So let's check these. Ooh, that's looking pretty good. Gosh, we got fuzzles everywhere though. So the goal was to have this seam like go right into this seam without it looking like it's stair-stepped up, and that looks pretty dang perfect right there. And this one looks great too. Okay, I have not had that much success, or that's unusual, this much success on that for this particular project. All right, we can see that point, not too bad. All right, that looks really good. All those points are meeting right at the seam. That's what we're really going for, that. And that's not too shabby either. It's a little higher up, but I'd rather see a little bit of this fabric than clip the point like what I did earlier, and we seam ripped it. Looking good. Okay, I'm happy with that. And then this we shouldn't have gotten that point. Nope, we're good. Didn't clip the applique. Great. Okay, so next up, let's flip this guy on top. And now I do want this one on top because I want to watch this seam. But we're going to start with the clips and clip these, or nest these seams again. So we're butting up that fold. So those folds are right next to each other and clipping. These clips are just the best. I'm so happy I'm using these instead of pins. First of all, I'm not stabbing myself all the time, but they're so strong. Like, I know that my fabric, even if I throw this around, that's not going to budge. That seam's going to be exactly in that spot, which is great because now we're getting into the world of bulky fabric everywhere. We're not with just our tiny little blocks anymore. So we gotta hold it all down from flopping all over the place. Okay, let's get another one in here. This piece, the one that we English paper pieced yesterday, is just, it's so awkward because there's like, it's so floppy because we haven't sewn past where the seam allowance is. It just feels funny to me. All right, let's get one more here for good measure. All right. Sewing that seam, and then we got ourselves a block of 4 here. Okay, let's watch our seams again. So remember, this piece is larger too, so that's adding to the awkwardness a bit. Okay, I mean, this piece is crazy. This is really, I think, our first kind of seam that we're paying attention to. Get going. Okay, right there. All right, first one down. I mean, that's kind of awkward here. I suppose we gotta make sure to sew those in. All right, and then right here. Luckily, if there's, a little hole or something, because, we didn't go past the seam allowance when we sewed this, when we quilt all this, it'll all be quilted down, so. I'm really kind of making this seam allowance really small, so hopefully this doesn't make it super weird. Here's that last bit. I'm just trying to go based on where those points are that I don't want to clip. Okay, now we're a little home free, but right here too, we got that really bulky applique, so my foot's gonna want to get stuck, so I want to make sure it lifts up a little bit. There we go. Now we're underneath it. Or it's underneath our foot. Ooh, and this is just getting caught everywhere too. Oh yeah, I was going to try and tape this down a little bit. It's getting just caught on like these little edges. All these seams are just snagging themselves here and there, and it causes it to pivot because it gets stuck there, but I'm still sewing, so we got little weird arcs going in our seam allowance. All right, we're ready to press this. Let's see what we get. And then we can pin this together. That's exciting. Yay! We're gonna do another quilt as you go. Ugh, I'm kind of ready to get quilting again. Right, I just sewed this piece on, so let's see how we did here. All right, that's looking freaking awesome again. That's good. Good to see. And what about here? Oh, I can see that point. That's nice. No holes in here. Nope, we're all good. Yeah, okay. Perfect. That's what I like to see. All right, let's press this. Again, where the seams are towards the inside, I think we'll go like this way. Ooh, another little piece of paper falling out of that foundation paper piece block. Oh gosh, these seams are so little. These little 1-inch strips. I know, I need my extension table for quilting. So we're kind of at that stage that we could start quilting this. I'm kind of thinking, gosh, we were kind of doing that in one day, weren't we? So I might actually switch the machines tomorrow. We still have tomorrow. I keep thinking today's Friday, but we still have tomorrow. I think I'll get the other machine out and the extension table, and we'll do some free motion quilting. I think that's the plan. Let's do it. Yeah, I'm like, is this the right direction? Yep, it is. So here we go. Ooh, it's pretty. I love this circle with these kind of like star blocks. Oh, and I didn't even think about this, but we put those 2 star blocks next to each other, and they're sort of pointing at each other, and we have the same star pieces in it. Ugh, it's so pretty. Okay, I'm really liking this block. Yay! Okay, that's fun. I have no idea how I'll quilt it yet, but let's assemble it. So I'm going to do that on my cutting board just so I don't scrape my table, because we are going to pin this together. So I have my back fabric and then batting, and then this will go on the front. I'm not going to trim it. I'm not going to add my extra edges till afterwards. So you can see right here I kept the extra white on. You can just see how much extra there is, and I think these got scrunched up a hair. So I think we'll eventually have to add more white. In theory, that should happen now, but I don't know how much it's going to shrink after we stitch it. So I think I'm going to wait till afterwards, and then we'll add, so like here I added some white at the bottom. Let's see, did I add any other stuff to this one? Oh yeah, like here I added some white. You can just barely see it, or maybe it stands out a lot. I don't know. Here I added white, and up here too. That's a whole chunk of white. Most of it will be cut away once I sew the sashing on, and it'll blend into the sashing. But those are all pieces. Right here is a whole big long piece that just got a little too small when I was free motion quilting it, and I wanted these all the same size. So I mean, I really could have probably trimmed these blocks just universally a hair down, but I don't know. We're doing it this way, so I'm not going to add extra fabric until I know how much I actually need. So we'll quilt it, we'll cut it down to size, and then we'll see how much of a gap we have, and then I'll sew more of that white fabric on. It's kind of a weird way of doing it, but I guess that's where we're at now. All right, I'm going to press this. This looks like it could use it. And then I'm going to tape this down to my board. Yep, I do have some tape yet. And then, here, let me grab that. Oh, this should be plenty. Some painter's tape. That's helpful just so things don't move around and you can kind of have it nice and flat. Oh, thanks, Denise. I'm really liking those little cornerstones too. Those little pieces of those little tiny, tiny squares in the middle. I think that's just going to look really sweet over the piece. So like, you know, like this, it's just like these itty bitty pops of color in the blonde quilt there. So I just think it's so sweet. And then there'll be, once we sew the rows together, so this sashing, we'll have one long sashing piece for the rows, and it'll be made up of the short pieces. So a short piece, and then our cornerstone, short, cornerstone, short, cornerstone. That's going to be, we're going to have to do a ton of clipping so we can get those cornerstones to line up perfectly. But it's just a cute extra touch, I think. These little pops of something, these little tiny, tiny little pixels in there. I kind of like calling them pixels. So yeah, just a fun little detail, I think. adding some color to the blonde quilt. And then, you know, every few blocks I do a block with more color. But for the most part, it's all these colors. All right, let's, I think, yeah, we just press this guy. Batting we don't need to press. I think this is, this might be the bamboo batting, yet we're using a variety of battings in this. It's kind of, I'm slow motion recycling with this quilt too. I'm slow motion recycling all of my smaller batting pieces from tons of random things. I'm on something. Here we go. There we go. All right, so I'm going to tape this down, and that's just going to help it from, like, you know, twisting and turning a little bit without me wanting to do that. So if you're using a color or like a pattern fabric, make sure that the pattern is laying on your mat, because, you know, we're going to pin this together. We want the good, nice, pretty side here. So this is the wrong side of the fabric right now. And I am going to just put a few little tape blobs. I'm just trying to get the edge. Just want to smooth this out. I don't want to really stretch it, but I just want to make sure it's straight and nice. I don't know for this little piece if I really need to do this, but this is how I would do a bigger quilt, and I don't know, it feels right. Okay, and then I'm just going to get the corners. You can see it kind of a little bubbly there. I'm just smoothing it out, not really stretching it. So usually I'm doing this on a large quilt at the on the floor at my parents' house, because I do not have floor space to do this for a quilt, and I don't have table space either, really. But the nice thing about quilt as you go, so if you are working in a small space, the quilt as you go process might be your jam. Like, you don't need a giant sewing machine or a giant space. Like, I'm literally, this is like 13 inches square or something in my small space here, and I'm able to, like, put a whole quilt together. Like, all of these are just small groupings of 4 that are all quilted. Like, they're all, like, nice and pretty. They're just all done separately, and then we stitch them together. It's kind of a cool process. This is my first time doing the quilt as you go process here. Oh, what size, Marie's asking, what size quilt will this be? Huh. We figured this out once. I think it'll probably be like a nice queen size. I don't think it's up to king size. Let's see. So it'll be 10 across and 10 across of about 7 inches. So each block is 6 inches, but then there's a sashing piece. Oh, those sashing pieces end up only like a ½ inch. So I don't know, take 6 times 10, so you're up to 60, plus, you know, a bunch of ½ inches, so that's like another 5 inches. So we're like at 65. So without a border, I don't know if I'm going to do that or not yet. So without a border, it would be 65 inches by 65 inches, give or take some quarter inches. So that's approaching queen size, right? And I think if it's a little shy than queen, right? So 65 inches, isn't queen more like 70 inches? I don't know. Let me know, you guys, what those sizes are, because if I'm just shy of a queen, I might just add some border. Like, I might on purpose make it like a normal size so I can use it on an actual bed. So I'll just have to determine that. I'd have to quilt as you go for the border, though, too. I don't know if I want to do that. It wouldn't be the worst. Okay, so I've just kind of laid this in the middle. Your back piece should be a hair bigger than your batting piece, which should be a hair bigger than your front piece. Although mine's all very similar, because, you know, it's not going to move all that much with a piece this big versus a giant quilt. All right, I need some pins. Let's do that. So next part is we need to baste these 3 layers together. It's also called sandwiching your quilt because, you know, you got your three pieces like a sandwich. You can baste it in all sorts of ways. Some people just like, there's some spray base, so if you're in a ventilated area, you can just spray it on, I don't know, I guess you're batting. I've never used it before, but I would assume maybe you're batting, and then you lay your fabric on top. You can just stitch base it, so you can just get a needle and thread and put some like really big stitches in, like really big, like, you know, this far apart, but going all the way up and down. That will hold it. So basting is just basically means temporarily holding something together, is basting. I'm going to pin baste, and I do that with my little jar of curved safety pins. Just going to jingle some out there. So curved basting pins have, or safety pins have a little dip in them. So if you see it closed, there you go. You can see it's like a normal safety pin, but it's got a little like bend. And what that helps with is, I'm gonna kind of go in these. I'm gonna kind of start from the middle and work my way out. I'm trying to figure out where I might start quilting, but I don't know that, so I'm just gonna go in. But the bend helps you go down and then back up easily like that versus a straight pin, a straight safety pin. So I don't know. We'll get a couple. Like let's get. And, you know, I like working middle out because then we can also just make sure everything's just smooth and nice. Still, let's go, I guess, right in the middle here. A lot of times, if you've planned your quilting beforehand a little bit more than I have, you might only put pins in spots that you're not going to quilt. But I don't know, so I don't know that yet, so I'm just going to clip. Okay, so this has a ton of layers, so I'm just gonna. Oh, that was easy. I was a little afraid it'd be hard to put a pin in there. This has tons of layers too. Let's go a little less layered area. So I'm going through all 3 layers: the back, the batting, and the front. All right, I'm gonna get them at the corners too. So just the 4 corners, and I think we'll be okay. I don't think I need to get, I don't know, should I put some more in? Maybe I'll put some in there too. Yeah, fine. I'm going to put some in on these edges too. Oh, 60 by 80, but that just covers the mattress with no overhang. Okay. Is that for, Catherine, I missed before that. Is that for queen, 60 by 80? That must be, because I think king is a bit bigger than that. Okay, so 60 by 80, and that just covers the mattress. So we would have 65, or maybe like 64 and a half without a border. So I think I'd like it more than that. Ooh, I might have to do a quilt as you go border. That'd be interesting. Ugh, I don't know if I want to add all that extra steps to it. Or it could be just a really nice sized, like, couch quilt. I don't know. If I'm going this far with this, I should probably, I mean, we've been working on this for years now, right? So should probably just at least go the extra distance and make it an actual normal quilt size. It's probably not a bad idea. Fine, I'll probably have to add a border to it. A quilt as you go border. That just sounds like a lot of extra work, but I think we should do it. Tracy is asking if I use a certain brand of pin. I don't. So these have been gathered over time. I just got them from like Joann's, and they're like all their notions and stuff. They have some curved safety pins in that aisle. So that aisle that just has like all the like clips and fasteners and all that. I think they have these. They're probably like Clover or Dritz or something like that. If you get one where it's annoying to poke in, or like it just doesn't seem like it's poking right, like it's not sharp, just throw it away. It's going to just be a huge nuisance for all your other quilt projects, and it'll just poke a bigger hole, and just toss it. Just grab a new one. I need one more. They do have some bigger ones and some smaller ones. You can kind of see I have a smaller one here, and then a bigger one. I kind of prefer the bigger ones. I don't know. I don't know why I got some smaller ones, but the bigger ones they're just easier to handle. And if you're going through a lot of fabric, they're easier to close, I think, too. So I don't know. I'd go with like these are probably 1.5 inch ones or 1.25 inch size ones versus these are 1 inch. I would assume that these are 3/4 inch, or I suppose we could actually measure. These might be 1 inch ones versus like 1.5 or 1.25 inch ones. I like the bigger. All right, we are pinned, which basically means we are fully basted here, and I do not need this taped down anymore. So I'm going to take all that tape away. It's going to pull some of these, like these edges are going to get a little fuzzily, but that's okay. Oops. And we basically, at this point, have ourselves a blankie. So it's all basted. So this is the part that I feel like you get the first sense of it being a quilt, which I just think is so fun. Yeah, so this is basically ready to go. So we do kind of need to decide how we're going to quilt this. We won't start tonight, so we might actually get done a bit early tonight, just because our next step is going to be quilting. But we only have to quilt this piece, which is awesome. So I don't know. Do you guys have any ideas for quilting? Like what popped into my head? I've never done this before, but I don't know. I kind of like meandering, but we could try like where we just go around and around in a circle. Maybe it could be kind of fun. Or I don't know. I still like just trying to do swirls and drawing a picture and stuff too. I don't know. Let me know if you guys have any ideas of what type of quilting we could do on here. I can show you. Why don't we take a tour of the quilt so far? That's what we could do with a little extra time here. So we have 2 rows completely done, and then this row has 3 done. So here is, I'm going to even get up higher so you guys can see this a little bit better. So here is this row 3. Just love all those little sashing pieces, those little cornerstones. And then on the back you can kind of see the quilting. So this one, it looks like we just kind of traced around some of the designs. Yeah, that one we went around the heart. This one we just fully kept like tracing around it, like echoing. Oh, this one we kind of made a scene, like some wind and, I don't know, trace the mountains. We were trying to be a little creative. So this one looks like it's just mostly the bubble, the circles, the pebbles. That's what they're called, pebbles. So here's what it looks like on the back. I just really love the back of this. You can really see a lot. Now this one's really fun. A bunch of, we tried a swirl with some flower bursts out of there. That was kind of cool. I'm not, a pro at free motion quilting, so I definitely feel like this is all practice, which is fun. I'm really loving practicing and getting better, testing out new themes and stuff. So this is one, I think, one of our earlier ones. So this one we have all 10 blocks going across. There's Chad Kitty. We quilted Chad into the quilting. Oh gosh, that clock! Remember that? That was a foundation paper pieced one. Oh, and applique and embroidery. That one had it all. All right, so there's this one, and for quilting, this one was fun. We did a huge feather. I really do love doing feathers. Oh, and then we made the elephant hold balloons. That's kind of cute. Here's it from the back. You can see the balloons. Our big feather. Oh, this one we hand stitched. So that's right. We did some hand quilting here. So this is all done by hand. I think this is my first attempt actually at hand quilting. Oh, you can tell. There's my blood. There's the blood part of the quilt. Oh my god. Yep. So that's like exposed the nature of hand quilting. So you can see some of the little hand quilting bits there. I forgot we did that. That's fun. Oh, this one we did just like some, like a line and a pebble. Just a little kind of basic one. Oh, I guess we did other stuff too. Oh yeah, we quilted like a whole eyeball. Oh, this turned out pretty. Look at what we did there. Oh, that's fun. Oh yeah, that hand quilted one. I'm going the wrong direction. Then this one we had. Oh gosh, you guys, this was like years ago already. It feels like that we did this. So this has got to be like some of our first blocks here. But we did like a little thread on the spool. For Chad, we wrote Chad in there. And just kind of did some loops. Oh, for the bowls, we made it look like there was like ramen in there and some chopsticks. That's kind of cute still. I do like that. We made it so it was like clear bowls. So we extended the line so you could see the bowls, the rest of the bowl within the other bowl. That was fun. I think that might be a favorite. That's a good one. And, oh, this is poofier. Like, look, we got some really poofy batting in here. And we made some clouds. Oh, that was fun. Yeah, we on purpose made some extra poofy clouds in there. So what we did is we were really densely quilting, and then we really sparsely quilted. So that here you can see on the back. So you can really see these big open poofs with all this tight stitching around it. So that's really kind of fun. It's neat seeing the backs where we can really get a sense of all that quilting. There's just a lot of work in this thing. That's why I got to follow through and do like the nice border, like make it a real size still, because we have spent ages and ages on this. I'm just trying to refold this. There we go. And then last up, oh gosh, this is old too. These are all just been around for a while. So this is another one where we have all 10 in a row. There's a pop of blue. Fun. All right. And what did we do for these? This is definitely a while ago. Oh, that's right. I made a little a scene here. So this is like the lake. This is like a hill with a tree and some clouds, or like the sky with the little like sunset and some waves. Oh, that might be my favorite. Oh, I remember we were playing with some templates. So we got some quilting templates to make these shells really nice. So we were testing out the circle feature, the shell feature with that, and then we had these little baby shells too. So this was all a play with let's see, one of these, one of these quilting sets. Let me just peek at one of these. Gina is asking if I use the first quilt from the Splendid Sampler one. I do. That is our main quilt, although we use a different one for winter. So I've been using the jean quilt, but we do use that one. So like here's that circle. So you go in, I'm just have the glare so you guys can see it a little bit more. You go in with your foot, then you go around, and then you just come out of it. And here we got the big scallops. We have this little dip in there. That's for the thickness of the foot, but it actually ends up as a point because that foot can't move around once it's there. It's just a point. So that's kind of fun. And then here's like a smaller one. This is probably what we use for the waves. So yeah, that was an experiment. I had gotten that special foot. That was for the Westerly quilting foot, that nice little round foot. And I got some of these templates to try with it. So that was what this one was all about. It's fun going through all these again. Gosh, this one I just did a bunch of echoing back and forth. We'll look at it from the front. Aw, I like this one. All these feathers coming out of here. These little swirls. Oh, we should do one where we do a lot of swirls like this again. I really think that's pretty. Maybe with our stars we could do some sort of thing like that. I like that one. Ooh, gosh, this is a squiggle craziness pile here. All right, what are these ones? Oh, cute. We got that little bowl of fruit there. That one's sweet. Oh, I forgot about this block. That was cute. All these fun blocks. Jeez, it's been ages and ages. I'm going to just fold this up. Cute little birdie we did with this one. Gosh, this feels like Splendid Sampler 1 stuff, but it's not. Here we use that really bulky batting again, so we got some extra poof to these. I think we did that on purpose again. We made just extra big shapes. This is the big shells. We did that on purpose because we were using that super poofy fabric, so we could get that nice effect. And last up, oh, that little pineapple, remember him? That was fun. All right, crazy. We're coming along here. So again, we have, it's going to be 5 rows like this. So, 10 rows really of each block, but of our 4-piece sections, we have 5. So there's 1 that's fully done, 2 that's fully done. We do have to connect them all with a really long sashing piece and a really long binding piece. That's going to be kind of a pain, but it'll be fine. Okay, so 2, and then we have this one that's just 3. So we could add this one to it when we're done. That'd be nice, although I think we were kind of like this. There, that's maybe better. So then we can add these 2 together. So this one will be 4 at some point. I don't think we'll do that tomorrow. We'll be able to quilt tomorrow, but we won't be able to assemble it all. I'm not that fast at this. So we are a hair over halfway done. Yeah, I'm going to say halfway because all that sashing, those long pieces are going to take some time here. All right, you guys. I think we will call it there. Oh, Becky says you're good at feathers. I freaking love doing the feathers, and I just thought that would be, just so difficult, and I'm like, they're so kind of frou-frou-y a little bit, but I don't think that at all anymore. They are so fun, and you can do a lot with them. Like for the koala quilt, we basically did a ton of feathers, but they all had points on the end, so instead of blooping them, we came to a point before coming back, and then it just looked like, the eucalyptus plants sort of thing, or bamboo, eucalyptus. Yeah, eucalyptus, that's what they eat, right? So it just looked like those leaves instead of a feather. So you can just kind of adapt them, and I don't know, they're fun. And they make sense to me. You can just draw a line, and then you just go back and fill in with the feathers versus some of this swirling. All these swirls, I feel like I struggle so much of how do I'm getting into these swirls and then I have to get out of them. That my brain isn't quite grasping yet. And I feel like someday it's just going to click and I'll be like, oh yeah, duh, you just go like this and then you get out of it this way. But for the feathers, you draw that line and it's all kind of laid out for you. And I think that's why I like them. And they just look fancy, like you did something super special when you're done. So I don't know, we might have to revisit some feathers again. I do like that. Awesome, so thank you guys again for joining me here tonight. Oh, and I will show you a few more things from our warehouse sale that will, again, start Saturday. And I'm telling you, some of these cones of floss, these smaller cones, they're not really small. They're large cones that we've used a lot. So we've used them for our kits, and now we don't use the cones anymore. So we have them laying around yet, really, in bins. So we thought we'd offer those up. Those are going to be at super discounted prices from going out and buying a full cone. So be sure to check on those. And there's literally one of most of them. A couple of them we have 2. I think one we have 3 of, different various sizes, but there's not many. So if you're looking for, to grab one of those floss cones because they're so fun and silly, those will go fast, I think, because they're just all individual. So that will be on Saturday. We'll probably put it up Saturday morning. I don't know quite what time yet, but we'll figure that out tomorrow, and then we will email you for sure. And we'll have a bunch of other fun stuff, like we got extra fabric, we got an embroidery bundle, like mystery bundle, some seconds. So seconds are things that were just maybe little thing was wrong with it that we didn't think we could sell it to someone, like, so like a tea towel with like one little extra thread that was maybe a different color in like a spot that you would be stitching. So we're like, we don't want to send that to someone. But now we're having them for cheaper. They're perfectly fine. They're perfectly wonderful. You might not even know there's anything wrong with them. But yeah, so some things like that. So our kind of warehouse studio second sale, that will be coming up Saturday, and it'll be lasting the week. So we'll send out an email for that. And I'm excited. So thank you guys again, and I will see you tomorrow, last day of the week. So have a great evening. Good night.